Welcome guys to the Meet Damien live stream. I am Damien, and today's live stream we're gonna first start looking at TAO, leading cryptocurrencies to higher prices. TAO's kind of going off the charts in a good way, going up to higher prices here. We'll take a look at it. We'll show you, the price targets that I was looking at for TAO over the past few weeks and how it just recently hit some of these Fibonacci extension levels that I was looking at. And then we'll take a look at some other cryptocurrencies that you guys want to take a look at as well. And, if you want to take a look at some commodities or some stocks, let me know what those requests are. You can put those requests in. We're going to try to do a 2-hour live stream today. I know yesterday I wasn't able to do a live stream yesterday because I just got tied up with a lot of things that I'm doing as far as preparing myself to go to Costa Rica for the next 3 months. I'll be heading over there next week. So a lot of things to do, a lot of loose ends to tie up over here before I make a 3-month journey to Costa Rica. But what I can tell you guys is that I will be doing more content. So that'll be the consolation for me not, being consistent with the live streams this week. You'll be seeing a lot more of me, guys, for next week here. And going into the next 3 months, you'll be seeing more content. I'll be trying to do a couple of live streams, one in the morning or late afternoon. I'm sorry, late morning, early afternoon. And then another live stream where I'll be on the computer here, maybe doing some live trading with you guys here during the evening hours. So I'll be doing 2 live streams, a day to make up for the lack of live streams this week. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's take a look at the price of TAO and see what TAO's doing, and then we'll take a look at some other cryptocurrencies here as well. We can see that TAO is currently trading at $358.66. Earlier today, we did see TAO get up as high here on Coinbase Exchange, as high as like $378.06. We hit that 1618 target on the Fibonacci. Okay, or close enough, right? Maybe didn't hit 380, but 380 was an idea here because I measured from the candlewick high here at 310. I'm sorry, I'm not candlewick high. This one here at 301. Okay, I measured right over here on March 16th, where we took this Fibonacci all the way down to the lows here at $172, $173. It gave me this Fibonacci to look for, and there was a 1272 here at 336, which we hit. What did we hit that? We hit that yesterday on Tuesday, and then we just continued on to this 1618 the very next day at 380. TAO is making some people some serious money here the last couple of days. Today it's only up 6%, but yesterday it was up 14%. The day before that, up 12%. And I think this whole move up, this rally, let's see it, this whole rally up on TAO, from where we are right now to where we were back in February, you're up about 115%. Your money, okay? So that's why TAO is kind of the talk of the town this week, and this past couple of weeks here, TAO's been the talk of the town here. Obviously, you had some bullish consolidation here last week after we had a nice green bunch of green days here for TAO. We kind of went on a bull flag here, and then we broke out of that bull flag, and now we're hitting the target of 380 bucks here. Well, we came close enough to that here on Coinbase Exchange. It might have hit $380 on another exchange. But yeah, what could we see here with TAO? Where could TAO go next? Well, I highly doubt it, but it's a possibility that TAO could, continue the exponential run and actually get up to 508 bucks here. That's the 2618. That's just my opinion. I doubt it, but not saying that it can't. Cryptocurrency world, anything's possible. Okay, but 508 would put you at the same level that you were at back here in November of last year, where we saw TAO as high as like $538. Okay, so it is possible for TAO to get up to 500 bucks. That would be the next upside target if we're just going to continue an exponential run up here on TAO. Okay. Now, if TAO actually decides to cool off here a little bit, I think we could revisit the 200-day moving average, this red line here. This red line is sitting at 284. That seems to be a reasonable target to the downside. It also puts you near this 786 retracement. If I just zoom in here, you can see that where the 786 retracement is at 274 on this Fibonacci that I drew. Okay, some of you guys might draw the Fibonacci the other way, and the numbers might be a little bit different, where the 0.236 is like right over here. But the way I draw the Fibonacci, the way I draw it is, you know, top to bottom, because I want to get the Fibonacci extension targets to the upside. So that's how I got, you know, 380 to show up here on the 1618. Okay, but you know, for those who do Fibonacci, you know, the other way, I mean, you probably should do it the other way, especially if you're in an uptrend, an up rally, but you won't get the Fibonacci extensions to the upside. So that's one reason why I do it that way. But had I drawn it, you know, the other way around, let's just show you from bottom to top here, where we go from what, 173 up to the high here at 301. Yeah, your 236 Fibonacci is saying that TAO could come down to 270 bucks, which is kind of close to this other, you know, retracement at the, you know, 274 at the on the 786 retracement. So it differs a little bit how you draw the Fibonacci, but I draw it this way only because I want to see if we continue on the rally, like how far could we go up to higher prices, right? And you can see that we already hit, you know, the 1618 at 380. So, you know, that's how I get the Fibonacci extension targets to the upside, by drawing from top to bottom. But I know some people draw bottom to top to get, like, you know, some percentages as far as, like, you know, how far of a percentage move could it come down on the total measured move here. You know, from 171 to 300 bucks, it could drop, you know, 23% out of that measured move down to 270 bucks. Okay. All right, let me check on the chat, see what you guys have to say about what I just said about TAO here. We got Mr. David Brooks in the chat here on TikTok. Good to see you, Mr. David Brooks. He says, anyone wants to help trading, come. All right, Mr. David Brooks is doing a little advertising for himself. I'm only gonna allow that for now. No more advertisements, or else I gotta mute you. Okay. All right, let's see, what else have we got here? I see a few people in the chat here, quite a bunch. If you guys have any cryptocurrencies you want to take a look at besides TAO, let me know. I'm doing a request here. You know, we are doing requests here on the stream, so let me know what stocks or crypto you guys want to talk about here. Okay. All right. So TAO. I mean, does TAO have the momentum to go up to higher prices here? This is where I would want to pull up the momentum indicators to see if it does going to go to higher prices, or if we might calm down, cool down a little bit. So let's go into the momentum, and you can see that here on the MACD indicator here for TAO, we are seeing you know, buying pressure showing up here. Okay, and I wouldn't be worried about, you know, TAO going down to lower prices until you see this blue line start curving down. You saw the beginnings of that kind of here in last week on March 19th, where we started curving down a little bit, but then we started picking up again with higher prices here for TAO. So curving down could be the first warning that we might want to go down to lower prices on TAO. But you have to see this blue line actually cross the orange line to the downside for it to actually show some selling pressure. And we haven't really had that since like January earlier this year, where we saw the blue line cross the orange line to the downside, and we got all this selling pressure showing up here on TAO. So I think TAO has the green light to go to higher prices, believe it or not. But you know, anything could change. You know, in the markets, it looks like it wants to go up to higher prices, in my opinion here. But you know, if something happens here with Bitcoin, or if we get some more geopolitical events that affect the markets, or maybe even something coin specific, where something specific to TAO, like one of their founders decides to give up and leave the project, then yeah, then that could bring the price down, you know, for sure. Okay, but it looks like to me that TAO wants to continue going to higher prices. So maybe we see 380 all over again for TAO, and then maybe we start dipping in the 400s here. And I did say there is a 2618 target to the upside of about $508 here for TAO, so maybe TAO does go up to 508. All right, we got what in the chat here saying, can I check River? Is River gonna go down? We could check River. I know River has also been a cryptocurrency that's been on a tear. I think it had a little bit of consolidation last time I remembered, and it might have had a little bit of a retracement. But I think recently we saw River go back up again. So we'll take a look at River for sure. Vicky wants to take a look at KCEX. Okay, so KCEX came in as a request before River, so we will look at KCEX first because you mentioned it first, and then we'll take a look at River after that. And then what wants to also take a look at Siren is Siren's doing another pump at the moment. Okay, we'll take a look at Siren. Siren's also been the talk of the town the past couple of weeks as well, along with TAO. So makes sense that you guys want to take a look at these cryptocurrencies with me here. Okay, at some point we'll take a look at Bitcoin, but you know Bitcoin is also having a decent day right now. Bitcoin's at 70,900. I think we saw Bitcoin get up to like 72K real quick here. We'll take a look at the Bitcoin chart later. But let me go ahead and do these requests, and then we'll go back and look at Bitcoin for those who want to take a look at Bitcoin. But yeah, let's move on to KCEX. Was one of the first requests. Thank you guys for making that request here. KCEX on, let's see, MEXC. Let's see how it's looking at here on MEXC. Yeah, I got some previous chart work on this chart. KCEX currently trading at 29 cents, down slightly, 0.78% today. What has KCEX done over the last couple of weeks, couple of months here? Well, KCEX kind of trending downward. All right. After making a surprise move up to the upside here in the middle of February, around Valentine's Day, you know, we got some love here for KCEX. Okay. The KCEX is just kind of just petering out, not really doing too much as far as like being bullish here. It's just for the most part trading sideways. Okay. And that's okay. That's better than it going down, because we have seen KCEX go down to lower prices towards the end of 2025 and going into the beginning of 2026 here. And I know KCEX was the talk of the town at one point here, kind of like what Siren is and TAO is right now. KCEX was the talk of the town back in October. Like we saw this thing rocket up like 500% in one day here on October 6th. Like I think that was like when Bitcoin hit its all-time high, its latest all-time high. And we saw KCEX just rocket up. I think it got up to like 20 bucks last time I remembered, and we were wondering if it was going to head up to like 50 or 100 bucks at one point here. That didn't happen. KCEX made a double top here in October near the $20 region, and that was it. You know, double top literally has top in its name, and that's as high as you're going to go. And we got sent down to the netherworld here, dropping like a bat out of hell to back to like basically the same price that you could have got KCEX here in October of last year, in September of last year. Okay, so that's unfortunate that, you know, it pretty much did a round trip for those who are like long-term investing. However, if you're in it for the long term, you know, maybe KCEX is you know, these are the lowest prices you can get KCEX, and this thing might be ready for a bull run later on this year, or going into, you know, whatever the bull run cycle is going to be for crypto for the next bull run. We all know that, you know, crypto and altcoins have been in a bear market. Bitcoin's been in a bear market starting in October when it made its new all-time high. I feel like the altcoins have been in a bear market since you know, January of last year. Some of them were able to make new all-time highs, like Solana and I believe like Ethereum and XRP, but they were far and few between and just not enough. Okay, something was definitely wrong with altcoins last year. I think it had something to do with Trump coins just sucking the liquidity out, but that's my opinion there. Okay, but yeah, what is KCEX capable of doing, right? Because you probably want to know, like, is this thing gonna go up or go down? KCEX kind of like hanging out near the 0.236 retracement at 30 cents here, 30.5 cents. Is this this is a retracement that I drew from like when KCEX was at 25 cents up to this high here at 46 cents here, and it gives us levels to look out for here. And KCEX, you know, dropped through the Fibonacci levels here, and it's hanging out near the 0.236. Okay, KCEX is actually very bearish. Okay, and I'll tell you why. It's below all its moving averages here. You got like the 100-day moving average right above you, this blue line here, sitting at 55 cents. That would be a target to the upside if KCEX can actually get its act together and go to higher prices here. But I think the target to look for to the upside is the 50-day moving average, this green line, sitting at 35 cents. I expect there to be resistance at 35 cents here for KCEX. If it does jump up to higher prices here, I expect 35 cents to be a problem. And you can see I highlighted a number here, 36 cents, which is kind of like right where the 30-day moving average is at 35 cents, 36 cents. 36 cents has acted as support in the past here for KCEX, where we used it as support here in December of last year, and then also here in November of last year. That was support back then, okay? But now, since we're below 36 cents, if we do climb up to 36 cents, it's going to act as resistance, because you have to think about this for a second. Whoever bought here thinking that they bought the low for KCEX here in December and November of last year, the dip just kept on dipping on them, and they've been underwater. And if they're not long-term investors here, if they're not in KCEX for the long term, then they're probably waiting until we get to 36 cents to break even, and then you know, they'll just click the sell button just to move on to something else besides KCEX. So I think KCEX will have resistance at 36 cents. Well, a 20% move up in price from where we are right now. But yeah, I think KCEX is going to have problems getting up to 36 cents. Okay, so there you go. 36 cents should be your target to the upside as of now. In the next, you know, we'll see. In the next few days, the next few weeks, maybe the next few months, if it takes that long, we'll see if KCEX is able to get up to 36 cents. All right. But yeah, moving on from KCEX, we'll go take a look at River, and then we'll take a look at Siren, and then we'll try to look at Bitcoin after that. Let's go ahead and look at River on MEXC Exchange. Sure, why not? River currently trading at $21.93, down 3.9% today. River almost has like kind of like the same story going on here, kind of like KCEX, but like River was like the talk of the town in January. Okay, not really October. There wasn't really much going on in October of last year, like we saw with KCEX. So River was the one that got up to like $88 here back in January, and then it had that nasty drop towards the end of January going into February here. But now it looks like KCEX has recovered. Okay, it's you know, recovered from the lows here back here in late February when we saw this thing as low as like $7.67. I recently drew a Fibonacci here after KCEX made this higher low here on the chart here, where it got down to like $10.60, and I drew this Fibonacci to the high here. At the time, it was at $25.95. And you can see that KCEX actually continued on to the 1272 at 30 bucks here. We got up to 30 bucks on March 22nd. Got higher than that, actually up to 33 bucks. And we almost hit the 1618 here on River. Okay. Now we've come down. We sold that you know, that rally there on River. And now it looks like we're kind of coming down to getting some support at the 618 Fibonacci all over again here at $20.08, $20.57. I think that is a psychological number that we're trying to hold on to here with River, you know, being at like $20. However, I did highlight on the chart here $21.89 or 84 cents, somewhere in that area, was an area that could act as support or resistance, because we have seen $21 act as resistance here on March 4th. We had some candle body opening and closings near $21 here on February 12th and February 13th earlier this year. We also seen $21 kind of act as resistance here in on January 12th with this Kennewick high. So I drew that out. And also look at this. Yeah, we also had a support here at $21 on January 19th. So $21 just keeps showing up here on the charts. That's why I drew that as a line to pay attention to here. And it looks like that's literally where we're at today here with River. We are at potential area of support, support and resistance here at $21.70, $21.80, somewhere in that area. We're literally at support, and if this holds as support, then I would expect, you know, River to make a bounce in this area and go up to higher prices, back to maybe like 30 bucks here. I'm sorry, 26 bucks, and then maybe 30 bucks like we saw, you know, a few days ago. This Sunday we saw, you know, $30 here for River. I think we could, you know, get a bounce here in this area and climb up to higher prices, but I don't know. If we don't get that bounce and we don't get that support, okay, then we could drop down the lower prices here. And I do see a little bit of confluence here with the 50-day moving average and this 0.5 retracement sitting at $18 here. I think between like $18, $19 could actually be the actual support area. So, you know, I think, you know, a lot of people are probably going to put their buys in at $20 and $21 just to, you know, try to catch this dip here on River. However, they're probably putting their stop losses like at $19.50 or 19 bucks here. And, you know, if we continue dipping down and slicing through those stop losses there, we could actually, you know, get a bounce off the 50-day moving average. Maybe $18 is where we could get support and actually get a good entry here on River. Okay, there's a saying on Wall Street. You know, your stop loss is my entry. Okay. So whoever's buying right now at 21 bucks, they're probably putting their stop loss right below 20 bucks. I think you could actually enter at like, you know, maybe 20 bucks, or even, you know, get a better deal here at like 18 or 19 bucks here, and we might get pushed down into 18, 19 bucks, and that would be an area where I would expect vicious and a violent reaction for River, for us to go back up to higher prices here, because I'm expecting that 50-day moving average to at least get an initial reaction where we bounce off that 50-day moving average. So I think 18, 19 bucks is a good support area for River. But let me just double check this work here using the VRVP indicator here. See if it agrees with anything that I just said there. And you can see, like, here on the VRVP indicator, I just threw this indicator off to the right. The green and red here bar shows you, you know, the green is how many people are buying at that price, and the red is how many people are selling. And the more people that were buying and selling at a particular price, more likely you're going to get a high volume node, which you got right here, which is showing that there should be a lot of support there. Because we're above that price, there should be a lot of support. And look at that. That POC is right there at $18.39. So I think $18, you know, to like $18.30 or $19 is going to be a very good support area for River if we do drop down to that price. And it's like, look at that. It's right there near that 0.5 retracement at $18.27. And it's right there, right next to that 50-day moving average. So I think this is your support area where I would try to buy cheaper River if you're able to do so here. And then, of course, you know, upside targets, you know, we got the value area high sitting at 26 bucks. We already said like 25, 26 bucks is where River could go next if it's going to go be bullish here. And then, of course, $30 is, you know, where we've seen this at on Sunday. So I think, you know, those are upside targets, 25, 26, and then 30 bucks. Downside targets, we could hit 18 or 19 bucks, but I think there should be a strong reaction to like get some support in that area if we do drop down to that price. Harrison Kelvin says, you are a beginner. Welcome. This is a great place to get started if you're a beginner. I do throw on some indicators, and I know the charts can get a little bit messy, especially if I got a lot going on here. I can always get rid of like the moving averages, clean things up here. But I do have some good videos to get started for the beginners. If you want to learn more about technical analysis and looking at the charts here and how to chart your favorite stock or crypto. If you go on to, I see that you're here on TikTok, but if you go on to like the TikTok channel for Meet Damien, you'll see, first of all, there's me, right? You come join the 6,800 follows that I have here. Go ahead and hit that follow button. Make sure you got the actual Meet Damien here. Appreciate you guys. Oh, I see you already did follow me here, Harrison. Thank you. And a few other people have followed me here. Thank you, guys. And on the Meet Damien TikTok channel, I do have some videos that are pinned here to the top. First video that I think you should get started if you're a beginner is this top left video here. It's got like 900 views here, 970 views. And it will show you how to set up the charts the way I set them up, and what these candlesticks mean, you know, what an opening, closing, a candle wick high, and a candle wick low looks like. This is a good video to get started with. And then another good video that has like a bunch of views here is this VRVP indicator video. I just showed you the VRVP indicator, but if you want to learn more about that VRVP indicator and how to set it up and use it, and then how to trade with it, this is a good video to get started with. And it's even good for the experienced traders. As you can see, it's one of my more popular videos here, because not only are the beginners benefiting from watching this video about the VRVP indicator, but the people who've been trading for a while, for years now, some of them don't even know about the VRVP indicator and how to set it up and how to use it. So that's a video that I think is worth taking a look at and learning as much as you can there. And then, of course, you know, you did see me draw some Fibonacci's here. There is a video here on how to draw the Fibonacci, how to set it up, and how to trade with it. And that's another good video. So those videos that I pinned to the top of my channel are videos I think are very educational and worth looking at, especially if you're a beginner to get started here. Okay. And then, of course, if you want to learn as much as you can when I'm not live streaming, and you want to like be able to get in contact with me and get in touch with me, if you click on this link tree here, this link here in my bio, that's the Meet Damien link tree. It will take you over to the Meet Damien link tree, and you can see the Meet Damien Discord server, which is free to join. Okay, not going to cost you anything. Okay, I'm welcome everybody here. And you can see me here on the Meet Damien Discord, where you'll see when I post up my announcements to go live, like when I'm going live, and then you can talk to the other traders here who are also trading and making money as best as they can. We share stuff about, you know, what's going on around the world here in the general chat, but we also got like some other useful stuff here, like the trade setups here, where we talk about where we're going to enter, where we're going to exit for the day trades, and where our stop losses are at. And just looking at the charts here. And then, of course, after we actually make some money, we like to talk about, you know, our gains here on the Show Your Gains here on the Meet Damien Discord. And that, you know, there we go. We got Cameron doing a 50x short on ONT, up 385%, you know. We got Nasir doing a 10x short here on Light, up 229%. So we got people here who are doing pretty well, and of course, you know, I encourage people to show their gains here, because it's tough to get into a trade and stay in a trade, especially when you're doing something like Cameron over here, doing 100x long on Hyperliquid, up 1600%. Congratulations to Cameron. He got in at 34 bucks. He got out at $39, and Cameron is one of our successful traders here on the Meet Damien community, and just another person you can learn from. If he's willing to teach, I am willing to teach. That's one reason why I'm doing these live streams here. I actually want to try to educate you guys as best as you can. So yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm here for you guys here on the Meet Damien channel. Yeah, great place to get started is right here. We got Mira asking about a long on XAU. I believe that is gold. So if that is a request to look at gold, we'll take a look at that soon enough for you. Okay, and then Sniper FX says 99% sure signal and powerful scalping strategy available, link in bio. I don't know what's up with these people. These people try to do advertisements on my TikTok channel. I'm also on YouTube. Yeah, Harrison, you can find me here on YouTube. Appreciate if you also subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to build up the following there. I have about 609 subscribers there. Like to get, you know, at some point to 1,000, but I guess the next milestone is just getting up to 700 subscribers here. But yeah, I am live here. Yeah, you can see the videos here on the Meet Damien. Like, you know, you'll see all my live streams here. If you miss my live streams, you can watch the replays here on YouTube. We talked about Trump on a couple of days ago here. We talked about Bitcoin and inflation on some of the other live streams here. So you got the live streams here, and then also you got those videos as well for my YouTube guys who are looking for educational content. We do have that VRVP indicator there VRVP indicator video is off there. The Fibonacci video is there. And then I believe I also have that other video that shows you how to start trading. Yeah, right there. How to read a candlestick chart and how to read the RSI MACD indicator. That video is also there as well in the Meet Damien YouTube channel. All right, I think that's enough shameless plug-in for myself there. Let's go ahead and move on to Siren, and then we'll take a look at XAU. And you know, I haven't had anybody say Bitcoin yet, so I guess we can hold off on looking at Bitcoin later on in the stream here. I do got Jay in the YouTube chat here. Jay is asking about VG in Iran. So let me go ahead and write that down. I do plan on being live for about a couple hours here. We've been live for about 40 minutes now. So you got another hour out of me, guys, before I have to do other things today. I'm still trying to get prepared for my trip to Costa Rica. I'm going to Costa Rica next week, guys, and I'll be there for 3 months, and I'll be creating as much content as I possibly can for you guys here. So I look forward to for the next 3 months here with you guys, and just pumping out that content for the Meet Damien community. I don't want to get too excessive, but you know, guys, just let me know if it gets to be too much with the content. I am planning on doing more videos and more live streams as much as I can in the next 3 months here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Siren now. Siren on MEXC, sure, why not? Why not? Oh my God, is Siren still doing the thing right now? Is Siren really up 119% today? Oh my God, I gotta double check. Is this showing the same thing on other exchanges here? Binance Exchange? Oh yeah, Siren is up 120%. Wow, this thing is just nuts. I mean, it's the talk of the town literally today and this week. I've been paying attention to myself. I haven't traded it yet because this thing is kind of ridiculous in my opinion right now. You do not need to do leverage trading on this. I think the people who are trading this, they're just trading it using spot accounts, and you can do pretty well, obviously, without leverage here on a day where you can just double your money on Siren. Okay, you're trading at $2.23. You're up $1.25 from yesterday, and you're up 123%. So yeah, you definitely, you can trade this with no leverage. All right, if you are gonna do leverage, maybe 2x leverage, 3x, and you might be pushing it. But yeah, this thing was out of nowhere. It just came out of nowhere. Okay, Siren. I mean, we kind of got a little bit of a hint of, okay, this thing is capable of doing something here in the beginning of February. We went up like 187% on February 7th, only to then, you know, do a rug pull here on February 8th and drop down 64%. So this is why this thing is kind of dangerous to trade. I wouldn't do too much leverage on this, but after it did that, I mean, I guess it got on everybody's radar, and we started bidding this thing up to higher prices here, making higher highs, higher lows, higher low here, barely. You know, now we're going exponential here on Siren, right? And we got a lot of volatility, a lot of, you know, this is definitely the talk of town, kind of like River was in January, and kind of like what KCEX was in October of last year. Let's see, here on Sunday, we went up 140%, but we did get up as high as like $4.81 when we were at 94 cents the day before. The candle close before that was at like 94 cents. So like, what the hell, right? Okay, so now this is definitely liquidity. There's definitely people trading this for sure. What can I do as far as trying to game plan where this thing could probably go next? I think, you know, an asset like this is, you know, there's communities out there on Twitter that are pumping it up, telling you, you got to get in on this thing. You got to get in. This is the way to make money. And I mean, and look at this right now. We were just looking at this at like $2.20, and now we're at $1.80, $1.89 here. Okay, so this thing is moving quick and moving fast. I'd be very careful trying to trade this. Hopefully you're already in it and you got in on that dip there. But it looks like they bought the dip here, and they're going to try to send this up to higher prices. One more time here. Let's look at the momentum indicators here to try to see if we got the momentum to go to higher prices. And it looks like here on the MACD indicator here, yeah, you got buying pressure still here. It came down here yesterday, but that was it, only for 1 day. And now you're seeing buying pressure step up again and increase here. I think this thing is ready to make an exponential move up to higher prices here. I wouldn't put too much in the siren. Not financial advice, but I would just do a small bet. Because this thing is going up and down, and very volatile here. You could make some money, but I wouldn't bet the farm, but wouldn't bet the house on this thing. On the money flow, right? The market cipher B indicator that I'm using here. You can see that you got a red sell dot here on Tuesday. What was that? Yesterday? But if we continue going up to higher prices here, you'll probably see a green buy dot show up either today or tomorrow, which would cancel out that red sell dot here. But this is like kind of like a warning signal, kind of telling you that, hey, you know, we could have a couple of bad days here for siren if you know, if the bleeding continues here. You got the red sell dot to tell you to get out of siren. Okay. However, you know, today we are still up 78% today. So I don't know, if we continue going up and we can sustain ourselves above $2 here, I think we could see you know, higher prices for sure for siren. And this could just be a buy to dip opportunity here for siren. Now let me go ahead and I'll draw a Fibonacci, I think, as best as I can here. I'll try to take it to this low here. It looks like we kind of had like a red sell day here, a red day here on March 16th. So I'll measure from here to the candlewick high here and see what the Fibonacci is telling us for levels to look for siren. And here on siren, you know, measuring from 43 cents here up to the $4.79 area that we got up to a few days ago here, we've already made a very deep retracement, came down to 0.236. I don't think this thing is actually respecting the Fibonacci, because the 0.236, we should have got support at $1.46, but we smashed right through that. And then here we are doing an Ono reverse on our way back up. Now, levels to the upside to look for would probably be like 618 golden pocket at $3.13. I think that could be where siren kind of chills out for a little bit before maybe it launches up to higher prices here. And if it does launch up to higher prices, we might see it revisit 479 all over again. And then we got the Fibonacci extension targets to the upside here, where we could see siren get up to like $5.98 or even $7.49. You actually got 1618 here at 749, and you got your 1272 Fibonacci extension target saying 598 could be a possibility. Now, if we're gonna go exponential and go to higher prices, I would expect this target to get hit obviously first before we hit the 1618. But there's no guarantee that we're actually gonna hit the 1618. This is more likely to hit, so I would probably be thinking about taking profit at like, you know, what, $5.98, $6 here on siren if you're playing this to go to higher prices here. Okay, a little bit too late to short it in my opinion, but if you are going to short it, let's see if there's any moving averages. Give us some targets here. You got a 21 EMA, this white line here sitting at 85 cents. That could be an area where we could take this thing back down to if we're gonna like lose the momentum and watch this thing bleed down to lower prices here. And you can see that we got a bounce literally right off that 21 EMA here yesterday. 21 EMA was at like 77 cents, and we came down to like 0.768 here. So moving averages wise, I think, you know, adding the 21 EMA to your chart, very important EMA to add to your chart, because that usually gets respected. It's going to be your first area of support if you're bullish, and if we were bearish, this would probably be the first area to get rejected. But we are bullish, and we're using it as support right now. So 21 EMA acting as support for sure on siren, and you don't really have anything to go off of with siren. You really do not have any other moving averages. All the other moving averages are below you, so it kind of makes sense that someone decided to buy it here at the 21 EMA, throwing their hat in the ring and seeing you know, if it's going to stick or not. And yeah, it did. You got the Uno reverse, and whoever bought here, they're happy. You know, buying at 76 cents, and then the next day it's at $2. yeah, congratulations if you did that. All right, moving on from Siren, we'll take a look at XAU, and then we'll take a look at IREN and VG for Jay. Thank you, Cool Cash, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. All right, let's move on to XAU. And that would be the price of gold. Looking at gold currently trading at $4,550, up 1.79% today. Gold. We have looked at gold before. Let me get rid of this volume here. But we have looked at gold in the past, and it looks like gold came right down to this 200-day moving average. They front ran it a little bit, but it has, you know, you could say that the 200-day moving average has acted as support. It was sitting at 4,071, and we got down to like, oh my god, we got down to $4,098 on Monday. I was not paying attention to the price of gold. I knew like 4,500 was like where we were at, you know, a few days ago, and that's where we're at today as well. And then I did see gold slip down to $4,300, and I was like, okay, it's probably gonna get some support off this 100-day moving average. That's literally at $4,300, and it's also right where that 0.236 is at on the Fibonacci retracement here. But man, I did not know that we spiked right below that 100-day moving average and right below the fib level here to come down to this 200-day moving average. Whoever bought gold here near, you know, $4 grand, congratulations. Because this is looking like kind of almost like a reversal candle here. This is kind of like shaped like a hammer candle. Okay, it would have been better if the candle body close was a little bit higher and there was like no candle wick top here. Then it for sure would have been a hammer candle. But you're kind of still getting the same effects of a hammer candle, where the price, you know, sellers try to push the price down. We got buyers stepped in a clear and convincing fashion to push the price right back up again. We closed out right here at $4,400 on gold for the most part here, and then we continue climbing up. We're getting a little bit of follow through. I think gold might actually be ready to go to higher prices here. Okay, we might get a little bit of a rally here on gold. I don't know if it's going to be as strong as we saw back here in January, where we saw gold, you know, make a new all-time high at 5,598. I'm not sure if we're going to get that. I think we got some resistance levels to look for here on gold before we can talk about all-time highs again. Right now, I see some confluence right here with the 618 golden pocket and the 21 EMA. 21 EMA is at 4,973. I think that could be a resistance area for gold here. And then also, you can see here on the Fibonacci, I don't know, I gotta see if I can bring this number out, but you can see here at 4,930 is where that 618 retracement's at. So when we get back up to $4,900 and $5,000 here on gold, I think people are going to de-risk a little bit. Day traders might take profit. Long-term investors might have, you know, maybe their last opportunity to sell gold at $5,000 before, you know, we could make a lower high here at $5,000 and come right back down to 4,500 all over again. And I feel like those who were trying to sell their gold at $5 grand, they're going to try to take that opportunity to sell at $5 grand. Maybe just for bragging rights, just to say that they sold their gold for $5,000 an ounce. But I think this is going to be a resistance area for sure. You got the 21 EMA and you got the golden pocket there, showing that that could be resistance for gold here. Okay, and then of course I gave you the downside targets. You know, if gold average comes down to that 200-day moving average sitting at 4,080, that's a good area to try to buy some cheap gold. Maybe play another bounce off of that. Okay. But yeah, that's gold in a nutshell. We'll move on from gold. We'll take a look at IREN for Jay here. Hopefully Jay's still in the chat. Jay, put a 1 in the chat if you're still in the chat here. Let's see. Moving on from gold, we gotta take a look at IREN. There you are. Yep. All right. Yeah, Jay's over here on YouTube. For my TikTok guys who are like, who is he talking to? I have a YouTube stream going on as well here with my TikTok stream. So we're now looking at IREN, which is the first stock of the day. Our first request for a stock here. Currently trading at $41.29. We have looked at this. I know this is one of Jay's favorites. I know Jay is invested in this this asset here. He's always requesting it. Now IRN, of course, I've seen better days here in November of last year. I believe, yeah, this is a technology stock, and technology stocks have been kind of like bleeding off. They haven't really been going up exponential like they were the last year and last couple of years actually. What I don't like is we're now creating a downtrend where we had the high here from last year, then we had a low, then we had a lower high here. Kind of didn't make a lower low here, so that we got the bulls starting to show up near like 36 bucks here. However, I'm worried that if we climb up here on IREN, are we going to make a lower high like we did here in January? Because if we make a lower high, that's going to convince the bears to be more aggressive on their shorting and selling of IREN here. And I'm just worried that that might happen here. Now, you know, what do we need to do? We need to go higher than this last lower high here at $63.59 here on January 28th. Yeah, we got to do that. You see that IREN actually respected the Fibonacci here. We got up to that 786 retracement here at $63, and then that was it. Someone decided to click the sell button, and then more sellers came and joined in and dropped us down to lower prices here. We came down to the 0.382 here at $37. We also came down right to this 200-day moving average, sitting at $36.23. And then that was the balance that we got. We got the balance of the 200-day moving average. So I think IREN is just, it's holding on. You could be neutral on IREN. If we drop down to the 200-day moving average one more time, that could be a gift where you can try to buy some cheaper IREN at 38 bucks right now. If we do go down to 38 bucks, maybe we make another higher low, frustrate the crap out of the bears, frustrate the crap out of the short sellers, and then continue on the higher prices. Now, we do have, you know, don't get too excited about, you know, making a higher low, because we do have potential resistance with the moving averages above you. We've got the 100 and the 200, I'm sorry, the 100-day and the 50-day moving average, simple moving averages, sitting at like 45 and 46 bucks here. I think that's going to be your short-term, near-term resistance here. If you can show that you're going to get above this and not use it as resistance, but just punch right past that, then I think next level to look for is going to be the 618 at $52, $54 is where I think we could bump our head up against on IREN. So, you know, I think there could be like a $5 move here on IREN, or even like a $10 move in the near future for IREN, and then we'll just have to see how it handles itself when it gets back up to $50 again. Is it going to get to $50 and then make that a lower high and then roll over? Because if that happens, then maybe you might want to get out of IREN if it's going to start doing a downtrend here and make lower highs, you know, one more time here. So I think, you know, not financial advice, but I think if you do see IREN back at 50 bucks, just take some off the table, take some profits, you know. I'm not going to tell you how much profit to take. That's where you have to figure out, you know, dollar cost averaging out of your position at higher prices. Maybe you take 20% off. Maybe you take 30% off. Maybe you take half of it off. I have no idea what you want to do with your position there. But I think $50 makes a lot of sense to, like, just take some profits and then see how it handles itself. If it goes up to higher prices, oh well, you know, you did lock in your gains at 50 bucks. And then whatever is left of your holdings of IREN is still making you money going up to higher prices. However, if we do make a lower high, you know, let me just draw this out. If we do come up to like 50 bucks here on IREN, and then we start rolling over back to 40 bucks again, well, you're gonna thank yourself for selling something at 50 bucks. You know, selling maybe 20%, 30% at 50 bucks. And if we do make a lower high here, you're not gonna be, you know, regretting not being able to sell at higher prices when you had an opportunity to do so. Okay, so just something to take into consideration. And you know, if you do sell here and we do roll back down to 40 bucks here, hey, you can buy back in again at 40 bucks. Buy low, sell high, right? Buy low, sell high is such an easy thing to understand and remember. But yeah, for some reason, as human beings, it's just like the toughest thing to do to actually execute because of greed and because of fear. Okay, but don't get too greedy. Try to, you know, maybe take some profits at 50 bucks if you're able to, and then see what happens. And if we do go to 50 bucks and we do like a bull flag, you know, I'll draw that out real quick here. If we go up to like 50 bucks and we could consolidate here, maybe, you know, after selling on that initial move up to 50 bucks, maybe you can buy back in again, put your stop loss really tight at like 49, 48 bucks, and then see if we do launch up to higher prices again. All right. Hey, you didn't lose too much. You might lose a little bit of your shares that you had altogether, but you're being smart about, you know, your money here by you know, putting a stop loss at like 48 bucks here after selling at 52, 54 bucks, and then buying back in again at like, you know, 49 or 50 bucks here to see if it's going to launch up to higher prices or not. You can kind of like make a trade off of that if it does do a bull flag here. Jay says, Pura Vida. Yeah, that's where I'm going, Costa Rica. Cool Cash. Thank you for following me here on TikTok. We got a few people here. Let's see. What said? Just dropped to $1.10 in 17 minutes. Wait, are you talking about Siren? Did Siren drop down to $1.10? That's crazy if it did that. Did it do that while I was talking to you guys on the live stream, or? That is a crazy. You do not need to trade leverage with Siren right now. You could probably still be right and make money just spot trading it. And if you did leverage, you could still be right about the direction of the move, but then get knocked out, and then the thing goes in the same direction that you thought it was going to go, and you're going to just be mad. So I just think, you know, trading Siren with no leverage makes a lot of sense to me. Wow, that's crazy that it did that. Did it do that while I was talking to you guys? I just wasn't paying attention or something. Maybe I was looking at something else while I was doing it. I don't know. We'll move on from Iran. We're gonna now take a look at VG. Was another request here. And if you guys got some more requests, go ahead and shoot away. I believe VG is Venture Global that Jay wants to take a look at. Jay, if you just confirm that for me, that we're looking at Venture Global as your next request here. Unless we're looking at a crypto. If it's crypto, then it probably needs to be a USDT at the end of the ticker symbol. Okay, yeah, Jay just confirmed. We are looking at another stock here. And this is Venture Global, currently trading at $17. And Venture Global looks like it's having a nice rally here to higher prices. I'm looking at this thing for the first time. So when I look at things for the first time, I do like to zoom out and see what it's done in the past here. Looks like this is a relatively brand new stock or company, or it just started trading on the New York Stock Exchange like last year. Which, you know, to me, I think that's pretty brand new. Okay. And you were trading as high as like $22 at one point, $25, yeah, in January of last year, and you're down from where you were a year ago, but you were further down to lower prices here, back here in December of last year, and you also had a pretty bad day here in April of last year. This was probably right after the tariff scare when Donald Trump was slapping tariffs on every single country, and then he did a tariff pause, and I think that launched the stock up to higher prices along with all the other stocks. But then we came back and revisited the lows here in April, and then we actually lost that, made a lower low, and that is insane that we actually did that. So we had an opportunity to do a double bottom here, but we actually took it a little bit further down, and then we launched up to higher prices here on Venture Global. So that's a little tricky there, but you can see here a potential like inverted head and shoulder pattern that was created here. And when you see something like that, where you got the left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder of like a guy who's like standing upside down on his head, that is actually a bullish pattern, and that usually plays out to the upside. And you saw that happen here with Venture Global, where we got an inverted head and shoulder pattern that launched us up to higher prices, and then we kind of did a bull flag here, kind of consolidated here at like $9, and then we launched up to even higher prices here on Venture Global here. And you know, how much higher could we go? You're kind of at the same highs here back here in June of last year, and those were like kind of like the high water marks here back in 2025 here. So I think we might be coming up on resistance. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna pull up that VRVP indicator, which I showed you guys earlier, but this is good to find out, like, you know, with all this data that we got going back to like January of last year, where are the high volume nodes? Where are the areas where we could get support and resistance with the high volume nodes here? And I know below us we got a value area low. I'm sorry, not a value area high sitting at like $14.18. This is an area that I would think should act as support because we're above it right now. It should act as support. I would expect to bounce off that area if we actually come down to 14 bucks. So maybe you can get some cheaper VG if we do go down to that price in the near future or at some point in the future here. Looking for targets to the upside. I don't see much high volume. Like we're you know, the volume starts to drop off when we get to like $17.69, of course, right? Let's see. Yesterday we got up to like 1762, so I think if we get up to like 1760 and we get rejected, I mean, it could be a hard fall down, back down to this value area high at $14 here for VG. But if we're somehow able to continue the momentum to higher prices here, we could push past 17 bucks and then rip up to higher prices here. I'm not sure what the catalyst for that would be, what the reason would be, but we could rip up to higher prices because you don't really have that much volume preventing you from going up to higher prices. I think after that, you just have to look at the previous highs back here from last year where we saw VG at like 1950. That's an idea to take some profit on the upside if we do go up to higher prices. And then looks like we also got candle body closes here in February at like 21 bucks. So 21 bucks is an area where you could possibly see some resistance as well. And then we got a candle wick high here at 22 bucks. So I think 21, 22 bucks, and then of course 1950 are your targets to the upside. If we can get past 1760. 1760, what we did yesterday is the, you know, the day high, the high of the day that we have to beat in order to see higher prices. And then after 1760, I think we head to 1950 and then 21, 22 bucks after that for resistance levels. And then of course I gave you the target to the downside about like 14 bucks. And also this 21 EMA at like 1277 could be a target to the downside as well. Alrighty, moving on from there. We didn't even get a chance to talk about Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and look at Bitcoin and see what Bitcoin's up to. I know Bitcoin is having a decent day. Is it still having a decent day? Bitcoin currently trading at 71,178. We did see it get as high as 72K earlier today. Let me get rid of the VRVP indicator. We can pull it up now. But Bitcoin still, you know, in the grand scheme of things, the bigger picture, you're still making higher lows here, frustrating the crap out of the short sellers and the bears, okay, who are trying to push the price down and also maybe trying to scoop up some cheaper Bitcoin if they can. Bitcoin's still making higher lows, and Bitcoin actually did what I thought it could do, or what it, you know, I suspected it needed to do. In order to make a higher low, you had to stay above the 65K area, which was where we made a higher low here. And I think as we were climbing up here to like 75, 76K last week, I was saying that, you know, if Bitcoin gets a pullback, we could pull back to 67K. 67K is where we would expect Bitcoin to get support, because we had it as support and resistance all throughout like February and the beginning of March here. And if I pull up that VRVP indicator, you're going to see that there's a high volume node there. Yeah. We got high volume node here at, you know, basically a lot of high volume here at 67K. And yeah, basically 67K up to like 68K. And it's just showing that we do have the highest volume node here at 68,800. That's your point of control, that blue line across the screen here. That is another area of support for Bitcoin. So we actually came below that, but you know, we actually came down to this high volume node here, which should act as our last line of defense and support before 65K would have came into play here as you know, another line of defense here. But I was saying to myself, you know what? In order for the bulls to keep the bullish narrative going here on Bitcoin, they need to make a higher low than what they did here at 65K. And I was like, you know what? To me, it actually makes sense. Like 67K would be a support area because it has, you know, been a support in the past, you know, a couple of months here. And it was also a high volume node here. And it would also be a higher low than 65K. So I'm not surprised that we did this here with Bitcoin a few days ago. We went down to 67,300 on Sunday. And then here on Monday, 67,400. So yeah, that was an area that other chartists like myself were paying attention to. And sure enough, we got the bounce off of Bitcoin here on Monday. Kind of consolidating here above the 21 EMA on the daily time frame, this white line here. Sitting at 70,200. If we can stay above there and actually close today above it, which I think we might do, now we might get another green day here for Bitcoin, where Bitcoin can actually jump up to maybe 73K. Was an area that I was looking out for on the charts here. And then of course, maybe we can get back up into the sell zone here between 75 and 78K. We kind of like barely touched our toes in it Tuesday of last week before we dropped down on Bitcoin. But yeah, this was a sell zone, an area where you should probably take some profit, especially when we'd had 8 green days in a row on Bitcoin, 8 consecutive green days. We were due for a pullback. We got that, and the pullback wasn't too violent. I mean, it might have been violent for some day traders who were longing and doing leverage trading here. But the pullback took you down to 67K, which is an area that I was expecting a bounce, you know, or initial reaction, and we did that. And now I think, you know, we could head up to 73K, maybe get a rejection off of 73K, or we could come back up to 76K and get a rejection off of 76K. I think for the bulls out there, if you're still, you know, day trading, leverage trading Bitcoin, I think you should consider taking profit at 73K, and then also 75, 76K if we get back up to those zones there, which would be the sell zone that I'm eyeing here for Bitcoin. All right, let's see. Thank you, Alex BC, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. And you're welcome, Jay. Jay says LNG is short supply, could be a catalyst. I don't know if that's a request for LNG, but we could take a look at LNG. I believe you're talking about liquefied natural gas. I could try to look that up on the charts for you. Let me know if that's a request. We can look at that here. We can look at that after Bitcoin if that's what you want to do. Okay. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna get rid of this line here. I think I was measuring a double bottom, and it already played out. Let's look at momentum. Does Bitcoin have the momentum to go up to higher prices? Is money flow looking good here for Bitcoin? Let's look at MACD first. This is your momentum indicator here. The moving average convergence divergence MACD indicator there, up top left right there. You see that MACD says it right there. Okay. We had buying pressure in Bitcoin, and it's been here since Valentine's Day. Bitcoin was catching the love during Valentine's Day, and it stayed, you know, in a loving honeymoon phase here, with green buying pressure all throughout the end of February, going into March here. Then the buying pressure died down, and March 17th came down, and then we got the MACD crossover to the downside. Selling pressure started to show up, but the selling pressure just wasn't strong enough to send Bitcoin to lower prices, and now you're seeing buying pressure showing up here. And we're about to get a MACD crossover to the upside, so I think, yeah, Bitcoin next move might actually be to the upside here. Don't know why that's the case. You know, we got some events in the Middle East that are kind of bearish, you know, with a war going on in the Middle East. But who knows? Maybe, I mean, Donald Trump has been talking about potential peace deal, and he seems very willing to make a peace deal. I think he feels like we accomplished a lot of our war goals of getting rid of the missiles, and I think taking down the nuke program for Iran. But I don't know. I think you got to find out where the actual nuclear fusion material is at, and you got to actually get that before you can actually say mission accomplished. But maybe something else besides mission accomplished is going to be said this week. Maybe maybe they work out a deal with Iran, actually opens up the Strait of Hormuz, and maybe oil prices come down, and that causes investors to be more bullish about the markets, including crypto and Bitcoin, and that could send the prices up. So there's some potential bullish catalysts out there that could send Bitcoin up. And let's look at the market cipher B indicator here. See what money flow is doing right now. Money flow was good and green all throughout March here until recently, until March 23rd. This is very weird and conflicting. So you had a green buy dot, which says that prices should be going up. However, money flow, which started turning over here towards the middle of March, has been decreasing, and then it went into the red, even though you got a green buy dot here. Okay, so there's some conflicting signals here. It says buy now, however, money flow is going negative. Maybe money flow is going to start turning itself up to higher prices. If we see money flow start curving up, that would be another confirmation signal, especially on the daily time frame, that it's time to be bullish again on Bitcoin again, and that we might see higher prices here for Bitcoin. Okay, so conflicting signals here on the money flow and market cipher B. Okay, and you can kind of see that confliction also here on the MACD, where yeah, you got a MACD crossover to the downside, but then like 3 days later you get a MACD crossover to the upside, and not that much selling pressure. So I think that's kind of throwing some people off for a loop. I did notice, like last night, I watched some other live streamers, some other YouTubers out there. I did notice that there were a lot of people that were bearish or starting to become more bearish. And surprisingly, when you got a lot of people acting bearish or talking bearish, the market kind of likes to do the opposite of what the majority feels might happen here. And we got a pop-up here, the higher prices on Bitcoin. So maybe if people are still bearish, the market might actually decide to eat their stop losses and eat their liquidations to the upside and push up to higher prices and punish all those bears that are bearish on Bitcoin. Now, I was also bearish on Bitcoin earlier this week, but after what I've seen on the charts here today, and after doing a deep dive on the charts here with you guys, I'm starting to think that Bitcoin maybe might want to push back up to like 73K, maybe 75, 76K like we saw last week. And then, could it go higher? There is a 50-day moving average at 78K that could push us down. I think if we do climb up and we get past 76K, we might not go too far before we get knocked down near 78K initially. Maybe we don't get knocked down too hard. Maybe we do a bull flag here. Okay, so let me just draw that out here real quick. Maybe we kind of go up, towards 78K. Get rejected initially, but then kind of like do like a bull flag and then launch up to higher prices here on Bitcoin. That's my messy drawing there. But I would expect a reaction at 78K because there's 50-day moving average right above us at 78K. So, and then also there is some confluence here with 78K being an area that we traded at here in early February of this year, February 1st, February 2nd, where we were trading at like 75 and 78, 79K. So this is an area where I think you got to think about it for a second. Whoever bought here, they thought they were buying the dip, and then it just kept on dipping on them. And they're like, ah, shit. And they saw Bitcoin go all the way down to 60K. That might have been enough to scare them to like maybe they haven't sold all their Bitcoin yet, but maybe whatever they bought at this area, maybe they decide like, hey, I can't take the pain anymore. I'm going to just break even at 78K if they're not in it for the long term. If this was just a swing trade, and not like a long-term, I'm going to be in it for like a couple of years, 5 years here on Bitcoin. Maybe they chose the wrong price to be at, and maybe when we get up to 78K, they're gonna try to break even and sell at 78K. So I think that it makes a lot of sense between the 50-day moving average and some people that bought here in February, that 78K would be the next target to the upside. And you know what? That would still make a higher high than what we did here on March 17th, where we got up to like 76K. And maybe Bitcoin kind of does an uptrend where maybe we start creating a parallel channel. If we get a parallel channel going here for Bitcoin, it'll look something like this. Let me just try to draw it out as best as I can real quick here. But maybe we do something like this on Bitcoin where we kind of just do a parallel channel. I'm gonna have to extend this out here, but maybe we do a parallel channel here on Bitcoin where you could play that. You just buy low and then you sell the top of the channel, sell high, come back down. If you go to the bottom of the channel, buy low again, and then sell high at the top of the channel. That could be a possibility that Bitcoin might do here in the next few days, next few weeks here. Okay, so just, you know, just another tool to add to the chart here. See if Bitcoin's going to do something like that going forward here. And that would just show that we're accumulating here on Bitcoin, that we're just accumulating. Bulls are stepping in, frustrating the crap out of the bears by making higher lows here, and then still giving hope to the bulls with us making higher highs, you know, ever so slightly on the price of Bitcoin. But I do think if we do creep up to high prices here, you are pushing your luck here on Bitcoin. When we get up to like 84K and 87K, that could be a problem. Because look at this, we got the 100-day moving average, which is above that 50-day moving average. The 100-day moving average sitting at 84K, 84,500. I think that's a very good area to try to take some profit on your longs on Bitcoin, your spot bags on Bitcoin, and then maybe entertain the idea of actually shorting Bitcoin at 84,500 if we get up there. But I think it might take us a few days, maybe even a couple of weeks here to get up to 84K. But that is another area to look for to the upside for Bitcoin, in my opinion. All right, Wally, thank you for following me here on TikTok. We got quite a few people here on the TikTok live stream. Thank you guys for coming on to the TikTok live stream here for the Meet Damien community. Don't forget to follow me here and check out the rest of my content on TikTok here. I plan on doing more content. I've been very busy these past couple of weeks here, getting ready to do my 3-month trip to Costa Rica, where I'll still be doing live streams. I'll be doing more live streams and more content over the next few months here. But because I've been busy, I just haven't been making any YouTube shorts or TikToks lately. But I plan on doing more of it. But for those of you who are new to the Meet Damien community and want to learn as much as you can, I do have some tutorial videos pinned to the top of the channel here. This is a good video to get started if you're brand new to trading and charting. This video to the top left has 978 views. That's my video about how to set up the charts the way I set them up, how to use the indicators here. And then I do have a video specifically on the VRVP indicator here that has 2,400 views. And that one is useful for both new traders and experienced traders. There's some experienced traders who don't even know about the VRVP indicator, and they know how powerful it can be to help them read the charts better and also trade the charts. And that is one of the reasons why I have, you know, close to like 2,500 views here on that video there. And then I got a video here about the Fibonacci for those who are trying to learn how to draw the Fibonacci and trade with the Fibonacci. That's another good tutorial video to get started here on TikTok. And my YouTube guys, we also got those videos here as well. If you go into the video section for Meet Damien YouTube channel, you'll see there's that VRVP indicator video off here, and then we also got the Fibonacci video here. And we also got the video here on how to read the RSI, MACD, and stochastic RSI indicator here. That video is also there on the Meet Damien YouTube. And if you guys can subscribe to the Meet Damien YouTube channel, that'd be greatly appreciated. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers. I know it's not as much as my 6,800 follows here on TikTok. But you know, for my TikTok guys, you can follow me here on YouTube and subscribe, and also you can see the replays of the live streams here. If you click on live, you'll see the live streams here for Meet Damien, right? This is today's live stream. This was a couple of days ago, a few days ago, and you just go back and watch some of my content here. If you ever missed it, you know, if you missed my TikTok stream for whatever reason, you can actually see my YouTube live stream for the replay here. And I see we got a couple more people that just subscribed here, so thank you guys for doing that. And then for my my guys here on YouTube, if you want to get more involved in the Meet Damien community here, I do have a link tree. If you click on that, it takes you over to the Meet Damien link tree. And we do have a Meet Damien Discord server, which is free to join. I encourage you guys to join there and come rub elbows here with the other traders besides myself. Try to learn as much as you can. You know, my TikTok guys, there is a Meet Damien link tree as well in the I clicked on the wrong one, but the link tree right here is on the top of my bio, and you click on that and it'll take you to the Meet Damien link tree, and you can join the Meet Damien Discord server. And if you want to get started trading with the exchanges here, we do have links to the exchanges. We have WEEX and MEXC. We also have a link here for Coinbase. You get started trading with those exchanges here. They got referral bonuses that you can scoop up and start your your day trading, leverage trading, if that's what you want to do. For those who want to start trading with TradingView and get a subscription plan, there's a discount code here for $15 off your TradingView subscription. We got that right there. And then we just got more links here. I am on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. You can find me on Twitter as well, and Facebook. You got all that, just in case something happens to my YouTube or TikTok channel, at least we can stay in touch here on Twitter. You can also stay in touch here on Instagram if you want. And then also we definitely stay in touch. You'll find me here in the Meet Damien Discord server as well. Free to join, where you'll see where I make my announcements here on when I go live, and you talk to other traders here. We share some stuff about what's going on around the world here, and also talk about our trades here. We also got trade setups here on the Meet Damien Discord. I apologize for my YouTube guys. You're not able to see the Discord server because for some reason I can't get Discord to work on the on my browser here. I have to do the Meet Damien. I have to go onto the Discord server application to actually get onto Discord here. But let me see if I can actually pull it up here. Let me go in my studio to see if I can show that for you guys here. There we go. There's the Meet Damien Discord that we're talking about here. So here we go. You can see that we have some trade setups here. If you guys look at, we give you guys where we're gonna get in, where we're gonna get out, for the entry and take profit, and then also where we might be putting our stop losses. So there's your trades setup channel here. We also got the show your gains channel. So after you make some money, I encourage you guys to share your profits, and because I know it's hard to get into these trades and actually stay in the trades. And there are going to be losses. There will be some losses here and there. Hopefully the losses are smaller than your gains. And for the gains, I mean, we got Nasir here up 229% on his 10x short on light. And then we got Cameron here up 385% on his 50x short here on WEEX Exchange and shorting ONT here. So we do got some traders. It looks like some people just posted up some more of their trades here. That's probably Cameron. Yeah, Cameron loves to show off his gains. That's one of the reasons why I created this channel. Was Cameron kept posting it in the general chat, and I was like, all right, let me just make a show your gains here. But yeah, Cameron's one of our experienced traders here. If he's willing to teach and learn, you can ask him questions in the Meet Damien Discord. But I'm here willing to teach you guys as much as I can. If Cameron's not able to do it, I'll try to answer your questions and help guide you guys through trading and investing here as best as I can. I'm not a financial advisor. I have to put out that disclaimer before I get myself in trouble here. I'm not a financial advisor, but I am another fellow trader here that doesn't mind going on live streams here and talking to you guys about the Meet Damien community, and also talking about the trades and setups that we're trying to get into to try to make some extra money here, right? And then also talking about long-term investing. I also long-term invest as well. So yeah, I can tell you like what I plan on getting into. Right now I am long in oil. I think just the way things are going on in the Middle East, there's been a lot of damage to oil infrastructure. and I'm not sure if oil prices are going to come down anytime soon. And if they do, I still think they might be a little bit higher than where we started the year off at, because there has been some damage done. And you know, I think some oil companies, especially like the companies that are able to build refineries and build pipelines, all that damage that was done in the Middle East, they're gonna need to rebuild everything. And I think there's an oil service ETF that I actually invested in for the long-term investors that are out there. If you want to do something else besides crypto and you're looking for another stock to get into, OIH is a ticker here. It's a VanEck Oil Services ETF. It has companies in there like Halliburton, Schlumberger. It has oil drillers like Transocean. And you can see, like, you know, since the beginning of this year, this thing has been up and to the right. A little bit of consolidation here after the oil prices dropped down to, like, you know, from 120 bucks down to like 80 bucks. But you can see, like, this thing is coming right back up to higher prices again. And I think if this thing does continue to go up to higher prices, we're looking at a 1272. Initially, we could get a pullback when we hit 440 bucks here. That's about another 10% up from moving where we are right now. And then also we got the 1618 saying that there could be some more you know, resistance at $485 based off of the Fibonacci here. Okay, but yeah, this is a oil drilling oil service ETF that I think is worth getting into, because all the damage that has been done in the Middle East, they're gonna have to fix that at some point, and these oil service companies are probably gonna make some money off of whatever gets rebuilt in the Middle East. Also, there's also what's going on with Venezuela. Although Venezuela didn't really have a war, they have oil fields out there, and with oil at higher prices, it actually makes sense to drill some of that oil in Venezuela that was tough to get to. So there might be some more work for some of these companies, some of these oil drilling companies, to go down to Venezuela and start extracting oil out of there. Okay, so, you know, shameless plug. I do own this, so you know, I will give out the disclaimer that I do own this, but I think it's worth getting into. This is one of my long-term investments that I plan on holding for the rest of this year, because I just think there's going to be a lot of money to be made as far as rebuilding oil infrastructure all throughout the world to get, you know, less of a reliance on the Middle East, and also rebuild whatever happens to the Middle East here. Hey, we got Trade Intuition in the chat. Good to see you, Trade. We got Joe from Trade Intuition. He must be on his lunch break, I believe. I know Joe normally goes live nowadays in the evening time slots. Let me give out a quick shout out to Joe, who is another YouTuber. He's usually on YouTube. I think he should start going on TikTok as well. But you know, you can find Trade Intuition on TikTok, and you can also find him on YouTube, but he's mostly on YouTube. And let me just give him a quick shout out here. So yeah, there's Joe from Trade Intuition with a couple of thousand subscribers, almost near 3,000. He does his live streams at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and sometimes he does morning live streams. Did you do a morning live stream today, Joe? Just out of curiosity. Maybe I might have missed it. And I'm wondering if that's the reason why you're on YouTube right now. Oh, that's right. Today's your day off. I remember you talking about that in your live stream yesterday. So I think Joe probably I think you probably did like a members only stream, right? Oh, no bonus stream? No bonus stream today? Okay. But yeah, Joe, he's got some good music to listen to on his live streams when he does go live. And you can find his videos here on YouTube. I believe Joe's also on TikTok, but I don't know if he's done any recent content on there. But hey Joe, I think it might be worth doing some content. I saw Porky Flounder. He found like a winning formula with doing just market update and news videos, like what's going on in crypto and what's going on in the stock market and just commodities in general. I seen Porky get a lot of traction lot more followers with his market updates and news videos. So might be worth trying to do something of that to get some more followers there on TikTok. Just my, that's like my word of advice. I did some of that when I started going on TikTok. I don't really do those market updates and news-driven videos because I just feel like we can just look at the charts and talk about the news. But I mean, I could talk about the news. I know. I mean, here on Cointelegraph, I mean, what has happened here? A lot of things here, but the Cointelegraph is my news website that I like to go on and just figure out what's going on in cryptocurrency world here. I think they talk about Iran and how that's affecting Bitcoin right now, but yeah, I just like looking at the charts. I've turned more into a day trading and charting channel here than more of a news channel. But I do plan on doing more live streams and more videos in general, both on TikTok and YouTube. And maybe I'll start doing some more like videos on specific coins, especially the ones that are in the news or getting affected by the news. And then I might do, I'll probably be doing at least 2 live streams every day, where I'll be going live in the morning and early afternoon, and then also going live at nighttime. And maybe if I do that, maybe I can do a collab stream with Trade Intuition. We can talk about the charts together and look at the charts. It's always good to get more than one opinion. Someone might see things differently than the other person. Someone might be drawing their Fibonacci's differently than the other person. Okay, I usually draw my fibs, and Trade Intuition, he's gotten on me about fibs, and I understand why he draws the fibs the way he does. But for the main reason I draw my fibs from top to bottom is I am looking to see Fibonacci extensions to the upside, which is quite useful to figure out what the targets might be if we're going to continue on a rally here. But I do draw fibs, and according to Trade Intuition, the right way. I do draw it the right way, especially if you're in an uptrend. You should be drawing it from bottom to top, okay? So in this case, I would probably pull from here, near 280, up to the high here at 407. And you can see that the fibs, they do come out slightly different, but almost the same. But I know, like, Trade Intuition, he likes to look at his fibs to give him, like, a percentage drop possibility here. In this case, he's looking for, like, 23% drop out of the total measured move on the Fibonacci here, okay? Doesn't mean that it's actually going to drop 23%. It means in this potential measured move, you drop 23% of that measured move, and then 38% here, and then 50% of the measured move, and then, the numbers go down. But you can see, like, whether you draw top to bottom, the numbers kind of do come out the same. It's just slightly different. But whatever makes sense to you makes sense. I like to draw top to bottom, only because I want that Fibonacci extension to the upside. I like the 1272 and the 1618 to show up on the chart. And then, of course, you'll see me say, oh, we did a shallow pullback to the 786 retracement. And in this case, you see it's at like 379 here, okay, which is very similar to the 0.236 if you drew it the other way, which is at 377 here, okay? But, if you learned it one way and you just want to stick to one way, that's fine, top or bottom. Usually the numbers do come out relatively the same. You can see that my 0.236 on the way that I draw it is sitting at 310, which is confluent or similar to the 786 retracement at 307 if you drew from bottom to top, okay? Which is what Trade Intuition does a lot. And I think we had just a little bit of an argument about when to draw top to bottom, bottom to top. For the most part, for those who are trying to figure out whether to draw bottom to top, top to bottom, when you're in an uptrend, okay, you want to draw from the bottom to the top. From what I've read and understand about Fibonacci, and then when you are retracing or going into a downtrend, you do want to draw from the swing high, in this case 407, down to a potential swing low if we do see a swing low, but this is not, we haven't really done a swing low here. All right, we haven't really done a full, downtrend. We're still in an uptrend on VanEck OIH here. So in this case, this would actually be the correct one to be using for an uptrend, because we are still in an uptrend. However, if we start to go into a downtrend, then you do want to go top to bottom, and you would just measure the swing low if it ever does get down, to lower prices here. Okay, and I personally prefer to do Fibonacci's this way, only because, yeah, I know we're in an uptrend and we should do it this way, but I don't get the Fibonacci extensions to the upside if I do it that way. You would get Fibonacci extensions to the downside like this, which, I mean, is something worth looking into. It could be an idea if you did do a violent pullback here, but we didn't do a violent pullback, and we are in an uptrend. So I want to know how far we could push this thing up to, and that's why I draw top to bottom, and I get my extensions to the upside. It gives me ideas like what targets could be for OIH here. All right, hopefully I didn't get too technical there for you guys. Hopefully I didn't lose you guys with all that techno babble there. But for my day traders out there, they definitely appreciate that. And I'm pretty sure they appreciate my reasoning and thinking as to like why I do Fibonacci's a certain way. But yeah, that's how I do it, and those are the reasons why I do it. And I am open to doing it both ways. I have a preferred way of doing things as far as like trying to get targets to the upside, especially if we're in a bull run here. Okay, and we are in a bull run here on VanEck Oil. And looks like we have a request here for TAO. We did take a look at TAO earlier today, and I know TAO's in a bull run, so we'll go ahead and take a look at it one more time. You might have missed it. I know I titled the video TAO, leading the rally here on crypto. Although I think Siren is also doing pretty well today too, kind of leading the rally. It's been like Siren and TAO are like the ones leading us to higher prices here. Although Bitcoin is trying to like play catch up. Bitcoin's like trying to play catch up with TAO and Siren. But yeah, TAO up 10% today at $372. Actually, I did draw a Fibonacci here, I think on Coinbase. Let me see if I can find TAO on Coinbase here. Alright, and yeah, you can see I did Fibonacci's on both ways here. I'm actually going to get rid of this. This is Trade Intuition's way of doing it. But also, it's actually the right way to do it if you're in an uptrend. But I want those Fibonacci extensions to the upside here. So I draw the Fibonacci this way from like 301 was where we were at here on March 16th. Down to this swing low here at $172.60. Drawing this Fibonacci has given me Fibonacci extensions to look for to the upside. And you can see yesterday we already hit the 1272 at 336. We actually went up to like 339, but we closed the day at 336 here on TAO. And sure, these Fibonacci's that sometimes, most of the time, they do work. These levels do work. So if I didn't draw the Fibonacci, top to bottom, I wouldn't have gotten the Fibonacci extension saying that this is a target to the upside here, and we hit it yesterday. And then look what we did today. We almost hit the 1618. We came very close. I mean, you could kind of say we actually hit it. We're only $2 off, but the 1618 was at $380 here for TAO, and the candlewick high for today took us up to 378 here on KCEX Exchange. So I think these Fibonacci's are playing out pretty well here. My targets using the Fibonacci extensions here are playing out pretty well here. If we can get past $380 here on TAO, and we continue going exponential here on TAO, we do got a 2618 at 508. I'm not sure if we're gonna hit that, but we have hit that in the past. We have been as high as like 538 here on November of last year. So just a few months ago we were in the $500. So I think if TAO's going to continue being bullish and going exponential here, we got $508. I think $500 is a target, the next target for TAO here. Okay. Of course, you know, there'll probably be some other levels to look for. There's some candlewick highs here. We got a candlewick high at like 460 here on July of last year, so that could be another idea. But just using Fibonacci alone, I think, you know, if we do get to $500, don't get too greedy. Not financial advice, but I would click the sell button if we get up to like 500 bucks here. You don't have to sell everything. You can sell something. You can sell like 10%, 20%, 30% of your holdings in TAO if you got spot bags in TAO. But you know, you do not want to see this thing go to $500 and then drop down to $300, and you're like, what the hell? I could have sold that $500. Yeah, you could have, and you didn't. So let's try to game plan this out where if we do go to $500, I think that's a good area to try to click the sell button and sell something. Not, you don't have to sell it, all of it, but you can sell something here, and if we do drop down to 400 bucks, you can buy back in again at 400 bucks, and then maybe we go back up to 500 bucks. Hey, you are literally selling high, buying low, and selling high again, right? So you can do that. But you asked, where do you purchase TAO? I mean, that would have been a good question back here in early March when we were trading at $177. This thing has gone up 100% today. I mean, not 100% today, but this thing has gone up 100% this month. So you're kind of showing up late to the party here, okay, for TAO. And even like, you know, last week when we were bullshit consolidating near the 200-day moving average, that was an idea to like maybe take a chance at buying TAO. I wouldn't buy TAO right now, and if you feel like you need to buy something here with TAO, then yeah, maybe you can buy a little bit, but just know that, you know, with cryptocurrencies, we have a tendency to drop down just as hard as we climb up. So I do not want to see you hurt yourself by going all in at like 370 or 380 here on TAO, and then this thing drops down to the 200-day moving average at 284. You're like, what the hell? I could have bought at 280, and here I am trying to buy at 370. This is where it gets a little bit tough. You gotta, you know, as far as like, you know, being an experienced investor myself, if I felt compelled and obligated to get into TAO right now, maybe I buy like 10%, 20% of what I plan on buying. All right, I'm not sure how much money you plan on putting into TAO, but let's just say you're planning on putting in $1,000, which is, you know, good chunk of change for most people out there. I would probably put like, at the most, 20%. I'd probably put like $200 in here. And if TAO does, you know, if you buy it at 372 and we go up to like 500 bucks, then hey, you made money. You probably would have made more if you went all in, all right? But you could also lose a lot of money if you go all in and we drop down to like 280. Keep that in mind. So I think if you don't have any TAO and you're anxious to buy some, you know, you could probably buy maybe a little bit here, 20%, whatever you plan on putting in. And if we get up to 500 bucks, you can celebrate. I would try to sell, you know, whatever you put in there. But I think you need to wait for a dip. You need to wait for a correction. You need to wait for a red day at the least. You know, trying to buy it near the highs of the month. I think this is even the highs for the year. We haven't been this high back in January. Trying to buy it right now is just not a good idea. To go all in on TAO right now. I would wait for a pullback. You know, we could pull back to the 1272 again at 336, or maybe pull back to the 301 to $301 here, or even pull back to this 200-day moving average. And that's where I would try to purchase it. I would try to purchase it. And in all honesty, if we pull back to the 200-day moving average, I'd try to get some at 280. Okay. But you could try to do something like this where if you buy here at 370 and you only do 20% of it, and let's say tomorrow we sell off, we get bad news or something just drops TAO for whatever reason, and we come down to 330, I buy another 20% here, and you know, see what it does here. And if we drop down to like 300 bucks, buy another 20% here, and then you're kind of like dollar cost averaging in on a pullback, okay? And then, you know, if we drop down to 200-day moving average at 284, you can buy another 20% right over here, and then maybe we get a bounce off the 200-day moving average, and you know you average down, your average is probably gonna be like somewhere near like 330, but that's a lot better than going all in at like 369 or 370. You can average down, and your cost basis will be lower if you take it a little bit at a time here. Okay, so I'd be looking for a pullback today. Probably not a good day to buy, but if you want to do so, and you think we're gonna go exponential here, then I want to go all in, but I would, you know, maybe buy a little bit here, and then see if we go up to 450 or 500 bucks here. DeluxeAlgo's in the chat here. Good to see you, Deluxe. Deluxe says at least a small pullback has just started for TAO. Okay, I mean TAO did get up to like 378 earlier today. I am looking at the daily chart here. Let's see what the 1 hour chart looks like, and that's kind of like a day trading time frame here. And TAO, I mean, it's still on an uptrend, right? You're still making higher lows here on the 1 hour chart. You got a pullback from the candlewick high for this hour. We got up to like 376 earlier this hour. Let's see the 15-minute chart here. I mean, this thing is still trending upwards. A little bit of a pullback. If this is what you mean by a little bit of pullback on the 50-minute chart, that's just tiny, ever so slightly. I'd be looking to see if this thing drops down further than that to try and get a cheaper deal here on TAO. But that's another hard thought for a lot of people to do. A lot of investors and traders is to be patient and wait for the thing to pull back. Okay? Because we don't know if it's going to continue going up to higher prices. That's why I say if you do not have TAO, if you're interested in buying TAO and you don't have anything, buying a little bit right now at like, you know, 10 or 20% of your planned purchase here, you know, we could continue going up, and you'll be happy that you bought a little bit here, and if we go up to higher prices, you'll be happy at the higher prices. But you're going to be mad if you go all in and we drop down to lower prices. So that's why I say, you know, buy a little bit here, and then see what we do in the next hour, you know, the next few hours, the next few days, the next few weeks, and then try to buy more at lower prices if you can on a pullback. All right. All my YouTube guys are saying we got DZ in the chat, and I remember Matty Ghost. I'm sorry, I know Matty Ghost showed up in the chat. Matty Ghost says he's in rig. I think we talked about Transocean, or at least I mentioned it in Discord, and I think Tony and Canada Dry were actually interested in buying rig after I mentioned it. How is rig doing? I'm assuming it's probably going up. As long as we continue having high oil prices, Transocean or rig will actually continue going up to higher prices as well. Yeah, we're near the highest for the year actually. We saw the highest price here on February 23rd at 696, and we're at 679 here. And Fibonacci extension targets, the upside is we got a 1272 at $7.80. And then we got a 1618 at 893. You can buy rig if you want. It's a little bit more riskier than buying OIH, which is an ETF that actually owns rig as well as other oil drillers and oil service stocks. I think for those who want to play it safe and still benefit from oil going up to higher prices, I think OIH is a better, safer play in stock market world if you're trying to play oil here. But if you want to just do one specific company and that's related, Transocean might be your pick here, and that's what Matty Ghost said. He's doing rig for one of his stock pickings, one of his stocks that he's picking here. Let's see. We also got DZ's in the chat. DZ's asking about Dog and Me and Bonk. And then also VVV. Oh man. DZ, I'm gonna one at a time, man. One at a time. I do got the time and energy to probably look at maybe two of those. So pick one or two that you like, and then I'll try to do that. We have done some other requests here. We talked about River, CoAI, Siren, the price of gold, VG, Iran, TAO, Bitcoin, over the last couple hours here. Let's see. Thank you, Nora, for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that. DeluxeAlgo says 357, 362 is where he thinks TAO's gonna go next. Okay, okay. Alrighty. DZ says he wants to look at Dog and Me and VVV. Alright. Let's look at Dog and Me. Pretty sure we looked at that the other day. And I think it was you that made that request too. Let's look at Dog and Me. And Deluxe, before you go, I actually do. Maybe we can, if you got the time, if you're on your computer right now, maybe we can do a quick video call after I get done with this live stream in the next 10 or 15 minutes here. Okay, if you got the time to do so, I'll be on my computer and we can actually try doing a video call. All right, looking at Dog and Me. Dog and Me currently trading at 1,050 is what I'm gonna call it. You know, it's like 0.00010. Okay, you're up 1% today. You kind of what are you doing here? You are flagging out. You know, the bears would call this a bear flag. Okay. It's just an idea here, like we could be creating a bear flag here. I like the fact that you are making higher lows on this bear flag. You know, bear flags, they could like slant downward or they could slant upward. I like the fact that you are slanting upward. Frustrating the crap out of the bears out here. Frustrating the crap out of the short sellers. Looks like yesterday you got as low as 947. You could probably put a stop loss right below there if you're day trading it or swing trading it. If you're in it for a long term, maybe you're not using a stop loss and you're not using leverage, and you're just trying to buy this low prices here for Dog and Me. But yeah, I think if you're day trading or swing trading it and you want to stay in the trade and not get stopped out, but also not risk too much, maybe put the stop loss below 860 here is how low we got here on February 6th. And yeah, I think you could probably stay in the trade if we're going to continue our bear flag that's slanted upwards here. And maybe you could buy here and sell a little bit here at that 50-day moving average at 1406, or maybe at the 100-day moving average at 1734. Let me just zoom out, try to get as much data as I can, because I'm going to turn on the VRVP indicator here and see what the VRVP indicator has to say about levels to look for. And let's see. Looks like the majority of the people that bought and sold Dog and Me since like August of last year, they bought at this blue line. That's your point of control, sitting at 1060. We're right at that point of control. It's like slightly above our heads right now, but you got a lot of resistance at 1060. But if you can push past 1060, the volume starts to drop off on the VRVP indicator here. And I think, I mean, we could get some resistance off this 50-day moving average at 1406, like I mentioned. But if you can push past that level at 1406, then there's a little bit of volume here at 1500. And then the volume kind of drops off again, and then we got some volume here at the 1714. Now look at this. This is corresponding to like where the moving averages are at. You got the 100-day moving average at 1730. And then you got a little bit of a high volume node here at 1730 as well. So, I mean, if you don't know how to use or set up the VRVP indicator here, that's fine. Just come on my channel and you can just request, you know, whatever crypto or stock you want to look at, and I'll turn on the VRVP indicator for you. But you can just use the moving averages if you don't know how to use the VRVP indicator, or if you're not able to use the VRVP indicator for whatever reason. I think you just use the moving averages as your guidance to take profit. 50-day moving average at 1406, take profit there. That's about a 40% gain from where we are right now. Just doing the math off the top of my head here. And then the 100-day moving average, that 1734, should be another take profit target for Dog and Me. That's about roughly a 70% gain from where we are right now. Let me just measure that out real quick here. Measuring, you know, to the 100-day moving average, Okay, maybe it's like 64%, but you know, you get the idea. It's like in that area, 64 to 70% gain. Okay, I just did the math off the top of my head, but with me measuring it, you know, I can see like, you know, 65% if we get up to 100-day moving average right now. And then here at the 50-day moving average, it's like a 33% gain, okay? So I think those are your targets to the upside. And I just gave you downside targets by telling you where to put the stop loss. Or I'm not going to tell you where to put the stop loss. You can put it wherever you want. Not financial advice. But if I was to get into a long here, I put the stop loss below the candlewick low from yesterday, or put it below this other low here from a few weeks ago, or very conservatively, just put it below the low here on February 6th, and you're most likely not going to get stopped out. You could be bleeding over the next few days as it kind of threatens to take your stop out. But you know, if we do go below 860 here, then there's something wrong with dogging me, and you probably want to go to lower prices. And you know, how much money do you want to lose? You probably don't want to lose too much money, so you get stopped out at 860 and call it a day, and maybe buy at a lower price if you, yeah, you can find out where dogging me actually, you know, goes down on the next leg down to see what price you could get if we do go lower. But yeah, I put the stop loss at 860 at this point right now. Being conservative, if I was in spot bags. Day trading, I'd probably put it tighter, below like the low from yesterday. Alright, we gotta look at VVV. DZ. You're gonna have to take these requests. You got so many requests here. Let's plan on looking at Ocean on the Discord if you still want to look at it. Or maybe save it for another live stream. Okay? But yeah, I appreciate you coming in. We talked about a lot of cryptocurrencies here. I did go live for about 2 hours now, so we're getting towards the end of this live stream. I kind of want to look at Bitcoin one more time on the way out, and then call it a day. But if you want to take a look at Ocean, and you want me to give you my opinion, then let's look at it on the Meet Damien Discord. All right, let's finish up. We're gonna look at VVV for you. And then we'll look at Bitcoin, and that's going to be it for today, guys. I'll try to go live again tomorrow. It's going to be another busy day for me, so I won't be going live. But Friday, I think I could do Friday either this time, around 12 to 2, or it might be like a 4 to 6 p.m. Live stream, okay? So let's plan on the live stream on Friday for like either same time this afternoon at like 12 to 2 or like 4 to 6 is when I'll try to go live on Friday. All right, let's look at the VVV, Venice token. Venice token currently trading at $7.03, up 11.9% today. Having a decent day. Let me get rid of the VRVP indicator. We always look at that. Just to figure things out in the future here. But yeah, here we go. Let's look at VVV. Look, we topped out here at $8.49 here on March 2nd. It's where I drew one of the fib nodes at. And then we took the other fib node down to like $1.57 here, which I believe that was where we're at here on Friday, February 6th here. So we got some levels to look for here, and you can see that VVV is having some trouble getting past this 786 retracement as of now. Okay, it kind of did that. It did get above the 786 retracement here on Friday the 13th. What was that, a couple of weeks ago? But it wasn't able to close above it. We came back down. Okay. Obviously, got a little bit of support here near the golden pocket, and now we're trying to reach our way back up to this 76 one more time. You see that things are kind of cooling down because we just don't know. Do we got the momentum to go to higher prices here for VVV? We're kind of chilling out here. Maybe if we get another positive day tomorrow, you'll see VVV launch its way up off the 786 to maybe $8 at some point here, or $8.50 like we saw on March 2nd. But I think you can draw the fib the way I drew it. You can rewatch the live stream here and see, you know, where I pulled it. But I pulled it from like $1.57, which was like the low back here in February. to the high in February, and this is how I'm getting my Fibonacci levels here. And I think, you know, to the upside, you know, we'll see if we can get back up to $8.50, and if we can get past that, there is a 1272 at $10.40. That could be a short to medium term target. That could be like a swing trader target there for $10 on VVV. To the downside, if we do drop down to the downside, let's see. I know we were looking at this a few days ago, and I saw that the 50-day moving average was confluent with the 0.236 as a deep retracement down to $3.20. That would suck if we actually go down to that low of a price there. But it looks like now the 50-day moving average is climbing just above that, and that could be support at 344. I think that would still suck because that's like almost like a 50% drop from where we are right now. Okay, but just keep that in mind, that that could be a drop that could happen in the future here. You know, in cryptocurrency world, these things are capable of dropping 50% on you. Okay, just as they are capable of going up 100 or 200% and doing like a 2 or 3x on you. Okay, but yeah, to the downside, that would be probably like a doomsday target. To the downside, I think more likely you might get a retracement down to this 0.382 at $4.22, where you have some sideways trading action going on here. We got a potential support area for VVV. Now let me go ahead and throw in the VRVP indicator, because I bet you it's going to show you that there's some support there. Okay, so we're looking at VVV. We got data going all the way back to like early February, and if I turn this thing on here, yeah, there you go. You got the value area low sitting at $4. Okay, you got high volume here just above it at like $4.20. That's going to be your support. Okay, if we do drop down like a rock. However, if we don't drop down like a rock, but we just make a shallow, you know, pullback or a sell-off, you do got the point of control is now sitting at $5.60, which is kind of like right where that golden pocket is at. But I think $5.60 needs to hold, or else you will drop probably down to $4.20 here. And I probably shouldn't say that, because will is a very strong and you know, term to be using with conviction. There's a high possibility, how about that, that if you lose the point of control here at 560, that you could probably drop down, most likely, to get some support at 420 here. Okay, and maybe even 460 here. Got a little bit of high volume there on the VRVP. Okay, so those are the targets to the downside there for VVV. So I gave you the targets to the downside, and I also gave you the targets to the upside. We could revisit 850, and if we get past that, we could see 1040 here on VVV. And I'll give you a little bit more thorough analysis. We'll look at the momentum indicators to see if we got the momentum to do something special here. And ooh, we do have something going on here. DZ, we got selling pressure dying down, and if we keep doing what we're doing and we continue on this trend, you're gonna get a MACD closer to the upside. You can see buying pressure start showing up, and yeah, maybe we do see $8 sooner rather than later here on VVV. MACD indicator is looking very good for something special here to the upside. And then here on the money flow market cipher B indicator here, we do get a green buy dot here on that came in what, yesterday, Tuesday. And then money flow, it's wishy-washy. It was, you know, negative here in beginning of February. Then it went positive here towards the end of February going into March. Then it went negative, then positive, then negative. We're probably going to get positive again here soon. It's wishy-washy. It's not really. I'm not really getting a trend, and I do like trends because I feel like it's easier to trade a trend than anything else. You know, I like riding the trend, whether it's to the downside or the upside. The trend is your friend until the end, is what they say in trading and investing. But you're not getting a trend here on VVV, so at least not here on the money flow. But what I can see, if I dig deeper into it, is we do see money flow is curving up. That's the beginning of something good and special here. And you just gotta see, is money gonna start pouring in the VVV like you saw here in the beginning of March? If you get something like that, then I think we will see $8 here for VVV. Okay, but yeah, the wishy-washy price action was like right over here. The last week has been wishy-washy, but now you're getting something here where this thing is trying to make a climb up to higher prices here. And if you get more money flow pouring into this, then yeah, you will see $8, and maybe you might see $10. Okay, so there you go. That's what I see here on VVV. Let's move on to Bitcoin, and then that's it. And I'm gonna try to see if I can do a video call with DeluxeAlgo if he's still here and if he's game for it. All right, moving on to Bitcoin. We see that Bitcoin at 70,800. We got up to like 72K here. I'm gonna get rid of the VRVP again here. I don't need that for now. But I think, you know, Bitcoin could be in this what we could call a rising parallel channel here. We got one touch, two touch, and possibly a third touch here on the bottom, and then we got one touch, and I didn't really get a second touch here, but maybe I have to redraw it a little bit. But there could be a potential rising channel here on Bitcoin, and if Bitcoin is going to continue being bullish here, 73K could be a target to the upside for the day traders out there. That'd be your near-term target to take some profit. Then of course 75, 76K, which is where we were at last week for the highs for the week last week. But then also we got the 50-day moving average at 78K. Is an area where I think Bitcoin could get an actual rejection and go down to low prices. And who knows, maybe make a higher low at like 70K and then jump back up again. I have no idea. It's just an idea. Doesn't mean it's going to be the right idea, but or a good idea, but it's just an idea that we could get rejected up to 78K because I've seen that happen before. And then, of course, if we get past 78K, then there's also the 100-day moving average sitting at 84K, 84,500. If we ever do get up there, I think would be a significant resistance zone because that has acted as support and back here in November and December of last year. And you have to think of the poor souls that bought Bitcoin at 84K, thinking that was the dip, and then the dip just kept on dipping on them. If they're not in it for the long term and they want to move on to something else besides Bitcoin, they might actually just sell Bitcoin at 84K just to break even. I think 84K is going to be the tough area for us to get past, and this could be where we make a lower high in the grand scheme of things and then possibly go down to low prices here. That could be the end of this rally here for Bitcoin, is 84K. I don't know. It's just an idea here, and that's just based off the 100-day moving average. So far, we have not been at the 100-day moving average. That's something to keep in mind. We have touched the 21 EMA. We have touched the 50-day moving average. Okay? We touched the 21 EMA a bunch of times here. And we only touched the 50-day moving average in this bear market that we've been in on Bitcoin, on this downtrend. We only touched it once here in January. Okay? And I think we could touch it again if we're going to continue being bullish and then get rejected again. Okay? Alright? I would be pleasantly surprised if we push past the 50-day moving average and actually touch the 100-day moving average, which we have not touched since we've been in this bear market on Bitcoin. We have not touched it since October of last year. So you're asking for a lot for Bitcoin to get up to that 100-day moving average at 84K. But if it does, I would take profit on my longs, take profit on any spot bags, and I would enter a short for sure at 84K. And then see how it plays out. Okay? So that's what I got there for Bitcoin and crypto there, guys. I appreciate you guys coming on to the live stream. Be on the lookout for my next live stream on Friday. We're going to skip tomorrow. I got some things I need to do. Getting ready for Costa Rica. Pura vida. Okay? And, yeah. Let's just plan on seeing each other again here for a live stream on Friday. And usually I don't go live on the weekends, but I will try to go live again on Monday and Tuesday next week if I can. Alright, so there you guys go. I wish you guys the best of luck in trading, investing, and whatever you decide to do here. And let's pray for Bitcoin for higher prices so we can see our spot bags go up to higher prices here. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow, guys. I mean, see you on Friday. Yeah, Friday. I'll see you guys on Friday. Take care.